This is weird. I haven't done this in a while. I also noticed, okay, let's rewind. I have had braces for 1 year. It's official today. Today is the 17th, which I got them on the 17th. I got them on the 17th last year. So it's been 1 whole year of braces and Invisalign. But I haven't vlogged most of that. Sorry. So I actually have vlogged. I have a bunch of videos of just random things, but none of them really made sense. And then as I was editing, I didn't really like what I had and I wanted more, but it was like the time had passed, so it didn't make sense to try to go back and get more. So I just have most of the last year that hasn't been documented. I think the last vlog I put up, true vlog, was Christmas, and then I did a get ready with me, which I'm still convinced I'm going to take down. But ironically, the last clip I have filmed was me saying that I was going to film more. So I had a conversation with some friends yesterday. Yesterday was my birthday, so we got together and just hung out, and I mentioned something about having a YouTube channel but never actually filming, or I film but I don't actually edit and post, and I don't want anybody that I know to know that I have one. And they were like, why? I just didn't really have a reason other than like, it's not good. It's like I just made excuses for it. And I realized all I was doing was making excuses, and if I actually just did it, it would be better, and I would learn, and I'd eventually grow to be better. And now here I am. My birthday is August 9th. It's October 17th. I've not picked up the camera once since that weekend. I didn't do any videoing on my birthday. Okay. I didn't do any filming on my birthday because that's when I hung out with everybody. But then on the 10th is when the clip is of me saying, I'm at the beach. I just went to the beach with some friends. I didn't film that because they're not like to be on the camera. I didn't want to ask them. I thought that would be uncomfortable because I hadn't seen them in 7 years or something like that. So I didn't want to just be like, hey, here's my camera. Do you want to be my clickbait or any of my background? So I didn't do that. But long story short, here we are. It's 1 year. I've had my braces. It's been 1 year of weird transitions. So I think I can remember everything that they've done. I can't tell you when everything happened, but I started and they gave me Invisalign and then braces on the back 4 teeth on this side, and it had 2 anchors on the inside for the Invisalign to hold on to since they couldn't be on the outside. After a couple months, they were trying to rotate my back tooth and it wasn't working, so they put a power chain on, and because I'm allergic to nickel, which is why it wasn't working as fast as it should have, I have like a weaker metal, I guess, and because of the nickel allergy, they couldn't use the usual buttons that they put on the inside for the power chain, so they had to use small metal brackets instead that were like nickel allergy friendly. So I have metal brackets on. At that time, it wasn't the back tooth, it was the one just in front of that they were trying to rotate, and it wasn't doing it. So I had a metal bracket on the outside and the inside, and then on my canine, they put one on the inside as an anchor point to pull it toward. But when they did that, I had to wear my Invisalign almost all the time. I couldn't take them out because the power chain's really tight and it's forcing a rotation. But because the tooth in the back was kind of stuck where it was, they couldn't risk putting a power chain on. And then if I took my Invisalign out and I ate and then I kind of got myself put back together and then I went to brush my teeth, that would have been too long. So I got to where I either had to finish eating and instantly brush my teeth before I cleaned anything up, or I would just put my Invisalign back in, wear them for like 10-15 minutes, brush my teeth, and then put them back in immediately. I also use a mouthwash that you leave, I was brushing my teeth, using the mouthwash, and not putting the Invisalign back in until 30 minutes after the mouthwash, because it's not, something on the bottle says not to put water on your teeth. It has like fluoride or something in it, I don't know. But it says not to have water for 30 minutes, so I wasn't putting my Invisalign on because they had just been brushed, so they had water on them. But now, after they put the power chain in, I had to just put them back in immediately. So I still use the mouthwash, but I didn't really, sorry, I thought somebody was right there. I used the mouthwash, but I didn't wait, so they would just go right back in. And Invisalign does say not to use mouthwash with it, so I noticed then it kind of discolored the Invisalign just a little. You couldn't tell because my teeth are behind it and it's opaque enough. It wasn't like a drastic color change, but it wasn't as clear as it normally is because my teeth had mouthwash and then the Invisalign were going on it. So that was like the first thing that they did that was new, that wasn't expected, was they put the power chain in. And that lasted, I had it for a little while, a few weeks, maybe a month and a half. And they said that it was still taking too long, so they added an additional rubber band. So I have a little packet of rubber bands, and I would put it across. So the power chain is essentially a rubber band, but it has like a chain length to it, and it's really strong. But they wanted the extra push of another rubber band. So just like the rubber bands people do, like to keep their mouth together or whatever, they gave me the same thing, but I put it from the power chain from the back to the front to kind of push that tooth to rotate more. So after, I think I had it on that tooth for 4 months. I think it was late June or early July when they said that tooth had finally rotated. So that's my 6. And then the 7, which is right behind it, with the wire, they had been kind of trying to rotate it too, but it was kind of stopped the same way the 6 was. So they took the power chain from the inside, that bracket, they took that off and put it on the 7, so they just shifted it back a tooth. And then they only extended the power chain, like the length of it, by 1, even though that was more space. So it made it very tight, and that tooth spun really fast. It was, I think, a month that I had that one on, but I saw them in between. I think I went like 2 weeks in between. So instead of my like 4 to 6 week appointments, it went to 2 weeks. And at this time, I also forgot to tell you, so I only had 35 Invisalign sets, and I was changing them every week. But then when they added the power chain, they said to change them every 2 weeks, which is also kind of standard. That's how Invisalign started, I think. And then after every 2 weeks of changing it, because the power chain and my tooth rotation was taking too long, they did, what am I trying to say? They switched it to 3 weeks is what, like, I've been pushed out to 3 weeks with my Invisalign, which I'm way past. So I just put my last pair in last night, and I think they have to last partway through November, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So let me back up. I had Invisalign and braces, and then they had to add a power chain to the inside. That took a while, and I can't remember. So I had the power chain, it was on the 6 and then it was on the 7, but they added a spring, and I don't remember when they added it. I don't know if it was on the 6 they added it, or I think it was on the 7. So when they moved that to the 7, they also put in a spring. So let's just kind of compact that. Invisalign everywhere except for these 4 teeth. These 4 teeth have braces on the outside, 2 Invisalign brackets on the inside, or anchors on the inside, metal brackets on the inside from the very back tooth to my canine, which is up in here, so it didn't have braces on the outside, and then a spring between the 6 and the 7 to do that last push. So my mouth had a lot in it. They finally got the rotation to do what it was supposed to do. I think this was like August now is when they got this all done, like mid-August. So they undid the power chain. They took it off, which the time before they officially took it off, they were replacing my power chain, because every appointment they had to replace it because it's a rubber band. It stretches out and it kind of loses its strength. So they would replace it. That's why my appointments went up some. And when they replaced it the very last time, power chain is so tight, it ripped the bracket off my tooth. So they have this length that's supposed to be like, yep, that's optimum, that'll pull it. Even the technician who was doing the switch, she was like, how did they get this on last time? I was like, I don't know, it hurt. And right when I said it hurt, the bracket went flying, and it actually flew out of my mouth and onto the floor. But they only have so many, and especially because I have the nickel allergy, they really don't have many of those. So she took the bracket, just like they do, like if you take braces off and then put them back on, they have a washing station So she took my bracket, went back, washed it. It was like 15-20 minutes. Finally she comes back and she's like, all right, let's try this again. She had to re-adhere the bracket on the back of my tooth and then let that cure, let it sit, and then put the power chain on again because it was so tight. So we did that, and then another rubber band that I was replacing 3 times a day on the power chain. And I think that was like the last time before they took them off. They took the rubber band off, but I still have the brackets. So I have a bracket on the very back tooth, and then on the back side of my canine tooth. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. But when they took the power chain off, they're like, yeah, your rotation's done, but now you have an underbite. Because when it had rotated, it kind of like pulled it in. Because it was being pulled from the inside, it pulled it in. So now they added a clear bracket because I can't use the regular ones. They had to add a clear bracket button on the outside of the bottom of my bottom tooth, or my back tooth. And I have Invisalign on my entire bottom row. I didn't have any special things. They had to cut the last tooth off of my Invisalign so that, like, not my tooth. They had to cut the last, like, divot for a tooth off of the back of the Invisalign. So I have a bracket on the outside and then that metal one that's on the inside. And I have to take a rubber band from the inside to the outside to pull it out. So, like, when I bite, like, if I bite, there's a rubber band in between it. I don't really feel it, though, because it is off, and it's still off. So I went to the orthodontist, I think 2 weeks ago. I can't even remember now. I go so often. I think it was 2 weeks ago. And they said, all right, you're almost there. The rotation, or the underbite's still there. So they had me schedule, I think it was another 4 or 5 weeks. So I go back in November. I think it's November 6th, or I don't know. Doesn't matter. That first week of November, I go back, and they said they should be able to take all of the braces off. So I think that means the 2 metal brackets on the inside, the plastic bracket on the bottom, and all 4 of the metal brackets on the outside. And I don't know if they'll do it then or not, but I do have those 2 anchors on the inside that are because I have the metal on the outside. But once they take my braces off, like the metal braces, they'll be able to do Invisalign across those. So they'll probably take those 2 anchors off of the inside, and then just when they get my new Invisalign, put it on the outside. But I think they said it takes 4 weeks. So they can't do the scan while I have the metal on, because that's not my tooth. So the first week of November, I have a full scan. They'll probably do the x-ray, like the bite wing, or the rotational x-ray that they do. I don't remember what it's called. And then they'll submit for me to get my next set of Invisalign. But I don't know how it works because, like, I don't know if they're going to have to make a temporary retainer or something, or how that's going to work, because I'll have no braces on these. And I'm on my last pair of Invisalign, and I've broken 2 because I've had to wear them so long now. So, like, once they upped it up to 3 weeks, I've broken them. So that's not the most calming? Not calming. I don't know. I'm a little nervous. So we'll see how that one goes, because I have no idea what they're doing. They just told me braces come off and we'll scan for your new set of Invisalign. So I'll be halfway done. The problem is they had expected my braces to be done when my Invisalign was done, and that was 35 weeks of braces. So I should have had them off in the spring, early summer. Well, now we're in October, and I still have the braces on, and I'm going to for another couple weeks. So my 18-month plan, I think, is fully up to 24 months of having braces, but I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do that. I have they haven't given me any end date because everything's been pushed back. I mean, they had to add a power chain, extra rubber bands, a spring, and then a weird, like, underbite rubber band from the back. So it was all things that he didn't expect. When we did the initial consultation, he didn't think he would need a spring. He didn't think he would need a power chain. He thought he could do all the rotations themselves. just with wires. So I think it might be because I'm an adult and my teeth are really hard to move now. They're not shifting around like they were when I was a kid. They're kind of where they are. So my body, or my mouth is just kind of holding on to it. So that's the 1 year update. That was a mouthful. I think that took me like 10 minutes to say. I don't even know. But I'm going to kind of do, well, I'm not going to commit myself to anything. But this may be a one-cut video, or this may be like a couple other things today because my routine has changed too. Obviously, I have before where I wouldn't brush my teeth in the office because I thought it was weird. I have no problem. I have a bag that's always in my purse, and it has a toothbrush, toothpaste, and my rubber bands that I put on. So I brush my teeth. So I'm in the car eating lunch now, but when I go back in the office, I'll brush my teeth, so then that's not a problem. I don't have to do some weird car voodoo. The way I brush my teeth at home is a little different too. Like, not really. I think it's just I've gotten faster at it because I know what I'm doing now. So just kind of weird things. I don't know if I'll show all of that. I don't know. There may be more or there may not. I just knew that it's been a year. It's officially the day of a year of braces. So obviously I'm not 25 anymore. So 26 years old and I have another year of braces to go. But if you've seen my first video, clearly there's a difference because, hello, my teeth are put together. Invisalign does kind of fill in the gaps. So when I have my Invisalign in, like right now, you don't see all the gaps that I have. But initially, if you didn't see my first video, I have a space. I'm not missing a tooth. I just have really small teeth. So there's a space that looks like I'm missing a tooth. They've made it bigger, and I'm going to put a bridge or an implant or something in there to fill the gap to look like the tooth that should be there that's now behind it. Because if they had closed it all, my tongue would just push them back out, and I'd have the same problem I have now. And then my front 4 teeth, because those are small, I'm going to have to do bonding or a veneer. I haven't figured it out yet. I still have to talk to my dentist on what we're doing. But that's a year from now. But they're going to do something to make my first 4 teeth a little bigger to fill in those spaces. So I think I'm at the size or like the spacing that they're going to be. And then they'll just have to make them bigger to fill in the gaps later. So I think these are all pretty much set. And then this space needs to be a little bit bigger to be the size of the tooth that's there right now. And I'll get something to fill that in, something to make these bigger, and then it'll all be done. But I don't know. I just completely lost track of what I was saying. I'm hungry. I took a really late lunch. It's 2, so I'm starving. But here's my long-winded 1 year update. I have braces. Got another year to go, but here's to 1 year.